Hey nail friends, how's it going? So in this video, I am going to do a full review and first impressions video about the Apres nail system, Gel X nail system. This is a different kind of nail enhancement than I'm used to. They are soft gel nail extensions instead of hard gel or acrylic. The extensions themselves are the tips. So they've created these tips in your traditional tip sizes, and they have them in different shapes and different lengths. And you use them like a full coverage tip, basically. So the concept of this system is a soft gel enhancement, and you apply the soft gel to the nail bed and to the underside of the tip. And then the tip itself is made of gel. So it's not a traditional plastic tip, it's made of gel. So you then basically sandwich the two together, and the gel on the underside of the tip and the gel on the nail bed adhere together, and that's your enhancement. So the tip itself is about double the thickness of a normal plastic tip. It's a full coverage, and you adhere it with a liquid version of the gel that the tip is made out of. So this is a very interesting type of system. I've never used a system like this before. I traditionally do just normal acrylic or hard gel. I'm still deciding if I like it. So far, my first impressions are that this system definitely has potential, and it definitely has a specific demographic to it. And there's definitely a learning curve. So there were some mistakes that I made as I went through this, but I will just kind of explain it as we go on. So what you're seeing me do here is prep the nails like I would normally for any nail enhancement. I am just taking my diamond bit around the cuticle just to clear off any cuticle that's on the nail, and then taking my sanding band and just lightly tickling the surface of the nail to rough up the surface. I skipped over her ring finger because my client here, she's actually my best friend. She is in the middle of nail school right now, so her nails are actually right now pretty beat up. I'm sure those of you who have been to nail school will remember how sore your nails were the first few weeks practicing on and having students practicing on your hands. So her nails are a little beat up right now, so I'm being very, very careful with the prep, really focusing on that cuticle area and not much on the rest of the nails. And then that ring finger was actually pretty torn up by one of the students at the school, so she asked me not to touch that one, and so I didn't actually use my sanding band on that one. So here's where we start with the system. So the system, these are the tips, and they're, like I said, they're full coverage. So right now I'm just kind of measuring them out to her fingers and to see which size will fit the full length of her nail. And she's actually learning the system with me as we do this as well, because she is going to be a nail tech, and so we're kind of learning this together. So as you kind of see, we're sort of talking here as we do this. So I'm just measuring out these tips to her fingers so that I know which ones I will need in the end. And then one of the things you do with this system is you take the tip itself and you file inside of it to rough it up, so that it's kind of this, it's the same as prepping the natural nail to add scratches to it for the gel to adhere. So it's the same thing here. We're just putting scratches in the inside of that tip so that the gel will adhere. And then when you put the gel inside it and you paint some gel onto the natural nail, then you press the two together, and then you use that little teeny tiny LED light right by my wrist there to flash cure it as you're pressing it to the nail. And then that adheres this tip to the nail, and then that's your enhancement. There's no building. It already has its apex pre-done. The shape is pre-done as well. Right now I'm using the coffin shaped tips, and they only have a long version in this one, and she wanted them shorter, so we do cut them down, and then I do have to kind of reshape them a little bit because you lose that coffin look as you cut them shorter. But that's just because we have too long of a coffin enhancement for her right now. So the tips themselves do come in different sizes and different lengths, or at least they will. I don't think the coffin ones come in shorter lengths yet, but they're going to. So I was just looking over the procedure page to see what comes next on the prep. So this is the pH bonder that comes with the kit, and I'm just putting a small layer of that on the nails to help dehydrate them and dehydrate the skin around the cuticle, make sure there's no oils and we're not causing any lifting or anything on the natural nail. This one is the nail primer. It is a non-acid primer that comes with the Gel X extension kit. Just putting a thin layer of this on the natural nail, being careful to keep it off of the skin around the nails and the cuticle. Since this was a brand new kit, I'm using, obviously all of this stuff is brand new, so right here I'm going to grab my brush, take the little protector off of it. I'm going to fluff up the bristles because they are starched from packaging. Just trying to get any extra starch out of it, and then I'm going to fill the brush with the gel. And then I just took the little cap that covered the gel bottle and just kind of pressing that gel into the bristles, make sure my brush is fully loaded with gel. And then I'm going to basically wipe off all the excess gel, and then my brush is ready to go and it is set for application. And the first step of the application after prepping and priming is taking a very, very thin layer of this, they call it the diamond gel or the extend gel, and painting a very thin layer of this product onto the natural nail. This layer will then be cured in the LED light for 30 seconds, full cure, in just a standard LED light. We don't use this little finger lamp yet. So we're just going to be, after I paint a very thin base layer of this gel on her nail, I'll have her put it in my LED lamp for 30 seconds. Now I'm taking that first tip that we've sized out for her pinky, and I went ahead and did this one in normal speed so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. And then for the rest of the four nails, I sped up the video so that it didn't take way too long. This video is already almost 30 minutes, so hang in there with me. So this one I'm just painting a thin layer of that gel on the underside of the tip where I have filed and roughed up that surface of the tip. I'm just trying to make it as thin and smooth as possible because I don't want a ton of gel to just like squeeze and squirt out the side of the enhancement. I want it to be as flush as possible to the natural nail. I don't want to cause any like bumps or lifting or anything by having gel just like flooding all over the skin and all over the cuticle and everything. So after I did that, I realized that I actually didn't have enough. I was being too careful with how little I put on there, and it didn't actually cover her entire natural nail. So I went ahead and took it off, grabbed a little bit more gel and painted a little bit more on there just to make sure that the tip was able to adhere to the full length of her natural nail. And I did discover I went over the natural nail just a little bit on a couple of them near the tip, and it was fine because it just made sure that the entire natural nail was fully covered with the gel, and it was okay that it kind of just like went over the end a little bit, and it was fine. So now I'm pressing into the gel. Make sure to start at the cuticle. I'm pressing down towards the tip, trying to make sure that all of the bubbles are pressed out. So this part was where I struggled a little bit. It was a lot harder than it looked. I watched the girl at the Utah Nail Expo do a demo of it, and I was really impressed with it. And I thought, wow, that just looks so simple and so easy. But once you actually get to doing it, it's a lot more difficult than it looks. So you just kind of have to hold it there so that it will start to cure as you're pressing it into the nail. So adding that pressure helps the enhancement adhere to the nail, and kind of moving your thumb around to make sure that it has the entire surface of the natural nail has cured in under this lamp. So that's what the little finger lamp is for, because it would be really difficult to hold the enhancement to the nail while it's in a full-size lamp. So that's what this little finger lamp is for when in the kit that it comes with. And it's really convenient. It helps. There's definitely a learning curve on how to specifically do this. And this is where I just sped it up just so that I'm basically doing the same thing on all of them. Once you get the hang of this system, they generally say that your enhancement time takes between 15 to 20 minutes between prepping the natural nail, prepping the tips, like sizing and prepping the tips, and then applying them to the nail, generally between 15 to 20 minutes, which kind of blows my mind because then you could spend a whole lot more time on nail art, and that's really cool. These tips are pre-made in the right shape with the right apex, and they're just already there. So it's actually kind of cool. I should also point out they market this system as a no refill system. It is a soft gel, so it does soak off, and they say that it soaks off in 15 minutes. I have not yet tried it. We only did these yesterday, so my friend and I are going to, at some point this day, we want to see how they wear before we try to soak them off. So we don't want to be offering this to our clients if in like a day and a half they're just going to start popping off. So we're going to see how they wear for a little bit, and then we're going to try to soak them off to see how easily they soak off. But that is kind of the point of this system. It's not a refill system where they would come back and have an infill and do a new design. This is a remove it and start over type of system. So I feel like it would cater to a specific demographic, people who maybe just want some cute, like high school girls who just want a cute enhancement for prom, or someone who just wants something fun for the weekend or something like that, where they don't want the continual maintenance and upkeep of enhancements, which I do have some clients like that who just pop in now and again and do a cute set and then want to take them off the next week. And so these are supposed to be very easy to remove in that case. So with her thumb, I definitely goofed on the thumb. again, this was the first time I had ever touched this product, so there was definitely a learning curve. I struggled a lot trying to press all of the bubbles out of the gel. I don't know if I had too much gel or if her nail bed was just too short or if it was bumpy or whatever, but after all of this effort and struggling and trying, I finally cured it. And then when I pulled the light off, the two corners back by her cuticle on either side of, on both sides of the nail and the back corners, neither one was adhered to the nail, but the gel was cured. So what I had to do was file off those corners and basically act like I was performing an infill on that nail with the gel to see if I could avoid those from lifting more than they had, because those corners were not adhered to the nail. You'll see me do that in a little bit. So here I'm just showing you what the enhancements look like finished. These are cured, done. There's nothing more we really have to do on top of these nails. I don't have to build any more of an apex. I don't have to change the shape if I don't want to. Theoretically, these are basically done. Because she didn't want them to be this long, I do cut them down. When I cut them down, I was using tip cutters because that's, to me, the fastest way to do it. But as I was doing it, I was noticing that because the tips are the actual enhancement, they are double the thickness of a normal plastic tip. So when I was cutting it, there was enough resistance that it was actually uncomfortable for the client for me to use tip cutters while cutting these. So after the third one, and I was noticing that there was so much resistance, and she was telling me that it was uncomfortable for her as well, I decided to switch to my toenail clippers for to cut them. You can kind of see how hard I'm like having to squeeze these to get them to cut off. So I ended up switching to the toenail clippers just because it was easier to do it more comfortably for the client to cut them down. Again, it's all a learning curve. Like I said, this was the first time I played with this product, so we both kind of just figured out how it worked as we went along. And it definitely is not a bad system. I think it actually has quite a bit of potential, and I think it would be really great the more I get used to it. I mean, I don't think it will ever actually replace sculpting acrylics or sculpting hard gel, for me at least. I am still a lot of a traditionalist, and I really like the creativity and the accomplishment of sculpting a perfect nail. So this, I feel like, it's almost cheating. Like it's just all pre-done for you, you know what I mean? So it's almost like it takes all the fun out of it, kind of. But for, quick and easy sets, for yourself, if you struggle with sculpting or even applying tips to yourself, and applying acrylic or enhancements at all to yourself, it's probably would be a lot easier to use this system for that. So I feel like it definitely has a place. It's just not the traditional way of doing things. So this was their file that just kind of came with the kit. I love this file shape. In fact, I was so excited that they had these files. I actually went online and ordered like 100 of them because I absolutely love them. It says that once the enhancement's on, that's basically all you have to do. Wipe them down with acetone, and then you can apply gel polish right on the top. We wanted to cut them shorter, and we wanted to shape them up a little bit. So I went ahead and did that. I'm just kind of filing around the cuticle just to make sure that it's really flush. I don't want there to be any ridges or have any issues with that. This is the thumb that I struggled with getting the enhancement on, and those two corners, how they're just totally lifted. They like just never adhered with the gel, but the gel had cured. So that's why I'm here. Sorry, my head is like totally in the way. But I'm just here taking my e-file and then my hand file to those corners just to file off the part of the enhancement that did not adhere to the nail. And then afterwards, I'm just going to add some more of that Diamond Extend gel to that cuticle area so that it actually pulls the entire nail together and those pieces aren't missing. And then after the fact, because putting it on like this makes it not smooth on top, there was some bumps from how I was like stroking it down and everything. So after I cured it, I just went ahead and filed and shaped it like I would a normal enhancement. So I was just kind of trying to damage control this one because I just struggled so much with this particular finger that I was just like, hey, we're just gonna do what we can. So I just I went ahead and wiped it off and then just filed it like I would a normal enhancement just to smooth out the top and that little bit of gel that I had to use on the top. Sorry if this is like super rushed. Feel free to ask any questions if I'm missing something, if I have forgotten to explain a step, or if you're really curious how this works, anything, feel free to comment or even private message me, email me. I'm more than happy to give you some more information on this. I just didn't want this video to be like an hour and a half long. So I did kind of rush through it a little bit. So this right here is actually Apres Hypno Gel. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. It applies like a dream. It's so amazing. I got the entire kit of all 6 colors and I'm so happy that I did. I absolutely, if nothing else, this Hypno Gel was absolutely worth the purchase. So yeah, it's beautiful. The magnetic quality in it is just so amazing. And the kit itself, each kit comes with 3 colors and a couple of magnets, so you can make some different designs with those magnets. So I got both of the color kits, so I got all 6 colors. But in this case, with these magnet polishes, you want to apply 1 layer, cure it for 30 seconds, and then you apply the second layer. And before you cure it is when you use the magnet to create your design. And then cure it after you've created your design, and then you can top coat it with whatever top coat you need. The Apres No Wipe top coat came with the kit, so we ended up using that top coat for it. And we used the wand, the magnet wand that had a flower end, and then I used the cat eye one for the silver ones as well. So it was just kind of a cute little quick design to finish these off. And we're just gonna she's gonna wear them for at least a week and see how they wear, see if they chip or break or anything with them being as thin as they are. I was slightly worried about breakage, but she did say that they seem very flexible and very strong and adhered very well. So she doesn't foresee any issues with them at all so far with as she's been wearing them since yesterday. So so far good things coming from her end. So yeah, that's this system. It was a really fun little kind of trial moment. If you're wondering why we only did one hand, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. Since she is in school, she still needs one hand to help work on while she's at school. So the school had asked her not to do both hands, asked to keep at least one hand free. So that's why we only did the one hand, because we wanted to test out this product, but she still needs one hand free for school. So that's why we just did the one. I love the cute little boxes that they come in, and their bottles are adorable. Like, I am such a sucker for cute packaging, and I just feel like these bottles, like, they're magic, and they just they look like a witch's potion to me or something. Like, they're super adorable. I love them. Oh, and the brushes are beautiful. They work so well. The brush is very flexible and smooth. I just love a good gel brush. I'm just crazy like that. But yes, these Hypno Gels, I highly recommend them. I already highly recommend them. So yes, they're very great. And on this one, like I said, we're just going to use the square magnet or the rectangular magnet for the cat eye effect on these two. And I just did it angled towards each other so they're not cat eyeing in the same direction. Just love that. It's like so satisfying to see how that works. It's so neat. And then we had some flowers on the purple ones, but it's kind of hard to see in the video. And then this is the top coat that came with the entire Gel X kit. And it is a no wipe top coat. And it seems very shiny. It seems really, really beautifully done. So I'm liking it so far. So I've got some friends that I'm gonna continue to try this entire kit on, see if I can at least get used to the application method. I know this was kind of like a struggle. I kind of struggled my way through it just because it was the first time I'd ever done it. And there's definitely a learning curve, as there is with, you know, virtually any product, any new application method, you're gonna have to figure out how to use it. So I don't think that it was anything against the product as to why I struggled with it. I think it was just me. I think I just need a little more practice. And once I get the hang of this particular application method, I think this system actually could be very helpful and very useful for a specific type of client. I definitely still love my acrylics and I still love my traditional hard gel, and I am for sure that kind of tech, absolutely. But this is a fun, quick, or will be quick, kind of an in and out enhancement for, you know, kind of a quick set. So definitely liked it a lot. And we will see in the coming weeks how they wear. This actually is a cuticle oil that we got for free at the Utah Nail Expo from one of the companies that was there. I'm only using it because it's hers. She's already used it, and normally I don't use a brush cuticle oil for hygienic purposes, but this is her bottle of cuticle oil, so I just went ahead and used it because she wanted to try it again. So that's why it's a brush, in case you're wondering. And here they are. So that's the finished result and how they look. I do have a little video here at the end with some different angles so you can see the thickness of the enhancement, the apex. You can see kind of how they look once it's all done. And yeah, there we go. Like I said, feel free to send me any questions or comments or anything. I'm more than happy to help you figure out if this system would be something you'd want to try. So thanks again for watching, and feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Talk to you later.